That's right. Okay, good evening, and I call this meeting to order. This meeting of the Mercedes City Commission regular meeting, it's April 2nd, 2024, and it's 6:30 p.m. Item 2, I'll establish a quorum. We have Commissioner Dr. Jacob Howell, Commissioner Armando Garcia, Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem and Dr. Saldana, and we have Commissioner Joe Martinez, and myself, Mayor Montoya. Next, we'll do the invocation. If you don't mind, Commissioner Martinez.
Sure. All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord God. We come before you, Lord God, as a humble commission, as a humble community, Lord. We ask that your grace, Lord God, and that your wisdom be upon us, Lord Jesus. So we put the decisions, Lord God, that are beneficial to Mercedes first and foremost, always, Father. We ask for your favor, Lord God, in this mighty day. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem, you would mind leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Moving on to open forum. Do we have anybody, Mr. Secretary? Nobody? Okay. Moving on to item 6, presentations from the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show main boss, Luis Saldana.
Well, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be on the agenda this evening. I'd like to just start, if I may, if you've got a minute, I've got a recap video. If you're willing to take a couple of minutes to watch, just had this developed and thought I'd share that. And hopefully, I think you'll see some things in here that I'll point out in my comments here shortly.
job.
Well, I just wanted to start out by showing you this, and like I said, there's a couple of things I want to point out from there. But I'll start by thanking the mayor and the city commission, city manager for all of your support throughout leading up to and so forth. And I'll make some very, very specific comments, and that's really why I'm here, is just to say thank you. We had a very, very good event this year. The weather was fantastic. The turnout was even better than that, and so we're still crunching numbers and still trying to figure out, where we landed after all is said and done. But I do wanted to thank each and every one of you for your continued support this year, specifically the mayor, city commissioner, city manager, and including the Public Works Department, Mr. Perez for their support throughout the show, the police chief, Frank Sanchez, Lieutenant Diaz, who I saw here earlier, there he is in the back, and all the crew out of the PD for everything that they did leading up to and during the show. Chief Javier Campos, certainly we appreciate him and his crew, and of course the EDC, Melissa Ramirez, and the Chamber of Commerce, Fred Gonzalez. In terms of city support, just ideally some of the things that we saw out there, and I appreciate the city manager helping with that. We had the city tent out there, which we turned that into what we call the family rest area. And the intent was to bring people, allow parents to come and just chill for a little bit, let their kids kind of burn some energy. We put them right next to one of our specialty acts and put some other things in and around that area. And then we had an emergency situation on our busiest night of the year, which was that second Saturday. And I appreciate the quick response. It was really phenomenal. Our lift station went out, and we had gray water coming back up through some of our manholes. But within a very short amount of time, the city was there, helped us. We were able to get the pump back up and running, but they were able to come in and help with the pump truck and kind of alleviate that kind of emergency situation. The traffic control, emergency medical services, fire protection, all of those things that I think probably a lot of us take for granted. It's not an easy task to make sure that people are safe and come and have a good time and feel comfortable and know just by looking around that they're in a safe environment. So we certainly appreciate the city in that regards. A couple other things that were important to note was I had been visiting with Mr. Perez months leading up to this, and we tried to alleviate some of the pressure that our show, we know that having such a large event in the city puts can be taxing on everybody's resources, specifically the city. We took a special approach in all of our vendors because we have a lot of vendors in the exhibit hall. We have a lot of food vendors. We facilitated that process for them instead of just sending them, say, go to the city and go get your permit, your health permit, your sales permit. I know that the mayor and I and the city commissioner had some meetings way back in the fall and talking about how to make this better for everybody. So we facilitated that process. We provided the city with a complete list of their taxpayers, the taxpayer ID, the vendors, all their contact information, and it was a lot easier for the city to kind of go through that list and do that. We paid the fee for all of the vendors as well. So that worked out really well. And then of course the fire marshal's inspection of all of our food stands, especially those that are using propane and other things, certainly helped as well. Some of the changes that they did in 2024 that may have been visible there, one of the first things that came out was the rodeo in terms of the video. And y'all know this, so I'm kind of repeating a little bit of some of the things you already know. But we went from 4 professional rodeos to 5. We didn't know what to expect in terms of how that was going to impact our gate, how that was going to impact our attendance. But I will tell you that we had over 27,000 people come just to the rodeo, those 5 rodeo events. And so that was really great news for us. We increased our perf money. We had cowboys and cowgirls from 13 different states, 3 provinces of Canada, and 2 countries other than the U.S., Brazil and Australia. So in that circle, and I think a lot of times what happens is the people in the stands don't really, for the most part, don't really know who's riding, and unless you're a real rodeo fan to keep up with that. I watch football. That doesn't mean I know every player and stuff. But from the circle of rodeo contestants, they were through the roof in terms of the quality of the event. We actually just got a report card back from PRCA with excellent marks on everything. everything from safety to security, condition of the facilities, the arena, everything. So we're really proud of that as well. The Cowboy Channel, I'm still working on trying to get the data from the Nielsen ratings on what their viewership is, but last year they reported 11 million viewers in 2023, just over 100 rodeos. And so what that means to us, and if you saw that in the video, I'm proud to be from Mercedes. I grew up here, went to school here, and I was very purposeful of making sure that if we were on television, didn't matter where that camera panned, they were going to see Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show, and they were going to see Mercedes, Texas. And it was all over the rodeo arena. It was inside the bucking chutes, so when they get up on the bucking chutes and take those videos of those cowboys as they're getting on those bulls or those broncs, they might not see the whole word, but it was there for them to see, so I was very purposeful about that, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. So on the livestock side, we had over 7,500 entries. We had over 2,500 exhibitors from all over the Rio Grande Valley and the state, and both our junior and our open shows. We had an excellent Sale of Champions. We had 325 kids come through the Sale of Champions on that last Saturday and go through the sale. Again, we're still crunching numbers. Last year, our total numbers in terms of contributions to the exhibitors was $1.7 million. And so we hope to be close to that, if not exceed that. But like I said, we're still trying to pay bills and collect money and so forth, and that's an ongoing process. Food vendors, just anecdotally, my daughter lives in Hutto, and they'd just gone to Rodeo Austin the weekend before, and she came in, she wanted to get something to eat, so we went through the food vendor area, and she just looked around, she says, oh my God, she says, how many food vendors do y'all have here? This place is huge compared to Rodeo Austin, which is, across the circles of stock shows across the state, is one of the top 6. And so she said they had maybe 20 food vendors. We had close to 85 food vendors plus all of our other exhibitors. So it's just a testament to the size of the event that we have. On the specialty acts, of course we added a few new, but I think probably we joke in the boardroom among ourselves that the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show tends to be the Disneyland of the valley for a lot of people. I mean, it's where they go and, that's their vacation, if you will, their spring break. We brought in that Sea Lion Splash, which was a huge hit. I think we got a lot of really positive reviews from people that were there. We had the stilt walkers, we had some of the other typical recurring things, the chainsaw artists and the racing pigs and so forth. On the carnival, I'll just tell you this, I'm a number cruncher kind of person, and so we hit last year's numbers by Friday. And then after Friday, we had a phenomenal day, and that's our biggest weekend, is that Friday, Saturday. We did fantastic on Friday, we did better on Saturday, and Sunday, it's the last day, a lot of the stuff, all the livestock's pretty much gone by Sunday afternoon, so it's just kind of one of those chill days where it's just going to enjoy the food and the carnival. We didn't. The community hit it out of the park. They were there in huge numbers on Sunday evening, and so even the carnival folks, they were just over the moon in terms of the number of people that were there on that Sunday. So we're really proud of that. It's one of the best carnivals in the country. It's certainly one of the largest, in South Texas, so we're really proud of that as well. The music, we had 11 headliners. We had approximately 14 openers. All of those openers, except for one, were local artists. And that's important to us to kind of share that opportunity with our local artists and highlight them. So we're really proud of that, including, and I will point him out because he is from Mercedes, is Kid Zapper, Mando Saldana. He hit kind of with COVID and everything, but he came in a big way and did his thing. He's always very generous and to not just to the livestock show, but he did a little fundraiser for the Cowboys Kicking Cancer deal, which we're really appreciative of him doing that. And then, of course, we had a grand opening for our music pavilion, and so appreciate the folks that were here from the city that helped us with that. This is our first real official use of the music pavilion. All of the artists that came through there were just floored at the quality of the facility. They said there's nothing else like that they're used to seeing, especially people that are not from around, either South Texas or the Valley for that matter. And so we did that as well. We had the Special Kids Rodeo, and I want to point that out because we had probably a little over 2,000 special needs kids that came in on that first Thursday and Friday. They come in the morning, they come with their sponsors or their chaperones. They get to enjoy the livestock show during a very, what I would say, a calm time of the day. They come in starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And kudos to Lieutenant Diaz and Chief Sanchez and the others that were involved. If you didn't go, if you didn't get to see that, if you're a special needs kid coming out of the bus, coming out of the parking lot, you were basically greeted by 20 different vehicles from Border Patrol, Sheriff's Department, Police Department, lights on, mounted horsemen from the Border Patrol, just sitting there high-fiving kids and greeting them as they came into the showgrounds, which was phenomenal. That was all on them. I mean, Andrew Maldonado, our events coordinator, was kind of working with them on that. But that was the feedback we got from the parents, from the teachers. We worked through Region 1 and through the special ed directors. And that part of our program continues to grow quite a bit. So I just wanted to share that. The parade, of course, was fantastic. I appreciate Hector Martinez, who's also from Mercedes, in coordinating that. We gave out a little over $40,000 in scholarships and just as much in what we call achievement scholarships or premiums for contributing. We had over 400,000 people come through the gates in that 11-day period. There is no other event in the valley larger than the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show. Ruben and I, Dr. Salem and I have talked about, I think the city population is 16, 17,000, is that about right? And so at any given day, from March the 7th through the March the 17th, there were twice as many people on the showgrounds that live in Mercedes. And you could turn that into economic terms in terms of them going to local convenience stores, supporting local businesses, local hotels. You could not get a hotel. I think one of y'all was trying to get a room and no place to stay, and so
But he didn't complain. He was
that's a good problem to have. And I will tell you that I was very purposeful. I think I mentioned this last year. I was very purposeful about looking at Mercedes hotels in particular. We have, our limitations are what we have, okay? And so I was very purposeful about moving some of our rooms that we book ourselves. We booked a little over 600 room nights just in that 11-day period, to moving them to Mercedes. And so work through the La Quinta and the Quality Suites to bring as many of those rooms over to Mercedes as we possibly could. And so anyway, I'll just stop there.
And they appreciated it. The ones that got a local room that didn't have to drive from Harlingen all the way in.
And but my main purpose for being here was just to come and say thank you to the mayor, to the city commission, to the city manager, to the PD, the fire, and everything for your continued support, and looking forward to an even better year in 2025.
awesome.
Awesome, thank you. Is that video available somewhere? That's a pretty good video.
He's got it on his computer.
So Louis, before you go,
Yes, sir.
couple of things. So last year and this year, both times, and I guess it's part of the benefit, right? I get chewed out for stuff like weather and electricity going out and things I have nothing to do with, but it always feels good to have somebody say, hey, you're doing a great job, and I tell them, well, I'd love to take credit, but the entrance has been, I've gotten a lot of compliments on the difference of the wait time. And I know that was a big team effort on y'all's part and the PDs and stuff, but the most important part there is the listening part, the way y'all have been working together from, parking to security to, all the stuff that the public works, the cleaning up and all that stuff. I wanna tell you, it shows on our side too. As you know, I work at the sheriff's office, and we got hammered when our guys were assigned a few years back to be traffic control, and we haven't gotten any complaints like we used to. Something else, I know that a lot of people that complain about the little ticket things or whatever, I can tell you while I was there, and I was on two of the busiest nights there was really no line. I was able to get my ticket, all the way, and I try to coach as many people as I can. No, what happens if you leave money? Well, you go buy a hot dog, bro. Just count up what you're gonna do. Don't complain so much. But I just wanted to tell you that that the cooperation shows. And from somebody who went to the rodeo, and as far as the rodeo is concerned, the way I measured it is my wife has sat with me through rodeos there for years. And this time she was covering her eyes at the level of bulls and the level of the riders. It was a whole different ballgame. And I only went to the bull riding. That's all I got a chance to go to because I had to leave. I had to go out of town. But I can tell you that the level, you could see the difference. I mean, I'd never seen guys spin 3 times in the air and, stuff like that. Not that I like violence, but I gotta say, it was a lot of fun, man. So, anyway, I wanted to, the vendor thing, I think that was, coming up with that plan, discussed over a, beverage and I think it came out pretty well. And again, I also wanna echo what you said about our city staff and your staff coming together to put that, cause that made it a whole lot easier. I actually got to see the fire marshal out there actually enjoying himself, which I think was a far cry better than the last time, right? So anyway, I also wanted to echo my appreciation to our city staff and the appreciation to you and your board for us working together and getting to where we at. So I appreciate that. And I don't know if anybody else has anything. I don't want to speak for everybody, but that's something that I saw personally. Anybody's got anything?
I just echo what you said, is when we, when we work together, I think it makes people feel like the city's part of that success, which we are, but it also makes the show a better show and a better event for the entire valley, including Mercedes. So it's I thought it went really, really well.
Well, this is a real feather in this community's cap to be able to hold, it's not, I certainly don't do it alone. I think the cooperation that we have between the livestock show and the city is very, very important and very, very instrumental in making sure, from the very beginning, I felt like my overall goal was to make sure people came and had a great experience, whatever their level of participation was. That included, a case in point, the vendors. To come and have 40 people lined up outside the planning office trying to get a permit doesn't help them. It doesn't help the city because it puts a lot of pressure on them. And so doing small things like that we can work those things out early and figure out ways to help each other, I think those are really just kind of examples of the type of work we can do together when we do things
I
together.
remember last year at the cattle barn, there was a young lady that got bent over backwards by her heifer. That tried to jump over the top of her and then
Correct.
and bent her with back doesn't made to bend backwards.
No.
And remember they put her on a folding table and she laid there moaning for like 30 minutes while people were looking for someone to come down and to respond, and we couldn't, and everybody was on telephones trying to figure out how to get some kind of an ambulance in there because it was more serious than a Band-Aid. And this year, I remember there was a similar incident where a man tripped, fell, cut his forehead and skull open on the side, and I mean within a minute or two, that little utility vehicle. There was a Willacy County guy inside of it. I don't know where he came from, but I was kind of expecting a Mercedes guy. But that's kind of a testament to the
Overtime
cooperation.
pay will do that too.
The cooperation that you find out there is you got a Willacy County paramedic driving a Mercedes EMS utility vehicle, and everybody's kind of cooperating. They were out there and they took care of him, and it was quick. And when you got that many people running around, something's going to happen. So that's just another example, I think, of the quick response when you got sewers backing up, take care of that in a hurry, and along with other kinds of emergencies and everything that I saw out there, things will happen, but if you can't do anything about that most of the time, but when there's people around, whether it's a public safety issue or whether it's a sanitation issue or something like that, everybody was Johnny on the spot and taking care of those kinds of things. So it's a good deal.
And on behalf of the board of directors, I'm extending their appreciation to the city as well for all the continued support.
Well, there's a re-invite to Gumbo, I'm in.
You got it.
Tell Mike Riska we nominated for another 5-year term.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you for
so
taking
much.
the time for
Appreciate
coming
it.
out, God bless you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to consent agenda.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve minutes for meeting held March 19th, 2024, and March 22nd, 2024.
Second. I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 8, management item, present, discuss, consider possible take action regarding request for change order number 3 for Cabizal Terrace project.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Change order, this is actually change order number 2 and 3. So change order number 2 is for an extension of 45 days, which includes rain days. And change order number 3 is for $5,500 and an additional 6 days to the project.
So you're
Mr.
saying
Attorney,
there's-
I'm sorry, sir. Ms. Attorney, can we fix that with just the motion, since it's the same kind of thing? We can?
Yes, the same project, he can
So if
do it
somebody
via.
makes a
Right.
motion, they'll have to say,
I'll make a
management,
motion.
to. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Which is,
Well, I think what you're
request
asking,
change order 2 and 3.
Change order 2 and 3.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned the days, is that an extension of days? Now, are we looking at a further timeline for completion, or what's going on?
The time for completion is now extended to June 1st.
And this has to do with the recent rain events?
Rain days are included in there, yes.
Now, I was out there not too long ago, and I saw the water that was being pumped out of, I believe it's Beach Street, right? Because I
Yes.
think we're complete with ash. Can
Ash.
you kind of discuss a little bit about what's going on with that, just so people are aware of what's
Right, it's actually
going on?
Beach, well, you know what, it's actually Ash, the one that's completed, and Beach is the one that we're currently working on. So in Capizal Terrace and mostly on Mercedes, the water table is very, how can I say, shallow. So you dig 3-4 feet, especially in Capizal Terrace, and you hit the water table or groundwater. So it's been very challenging for the contractor to install sanitary sewer line, and that goes for any project, sanitary sewer line project in Mercedes. It's quite the challenge, and a lot of the labor and costs go into dewatering. So that it's been quite a challenge. For instance, to install the lift station, which was the first portion of the project that was completed, I think the contractor pumped straight 24 hours a day for over 30 days just to control the groundwater, so we could actually place the lift station in a 25-foot deep pit.
Now, I know you're the expert on this, so just for the sake of public's information and so forth, the line that you guys are talking about that they're digging for, what is that line for? The one that's running across that they're draining.
Right,
water.
so that would be the main line that carries sanitary sewage away from people's homes and diverts it all the way to our treatment plant where it's eventually treated and all that, and then gets discharged into public water. So that's how a sanitary sewer system works. It starts at your faucet, at your toilet, at your sink, and it, you know, for sanitary public health reasons, it has to be carried away by a public sanitary sewer system like the one we're installing at Capizal
So
Terrace,
Mayor, real quick.
which they didn't have before.
Just so again, you know, because every time it rains, we get a lot of comments or calls in regards to Capizal Terrace. The project is going to be complete. Now with the recent rains, it's been pushed, now we're looking at June 1st. And just so people understand, this piping is important because this is what's gonna carry the water out. But the issue is, just so we can reiterate, when you dig, and I saw what you're talking about, there's a lot of water that has to be pumped out in order for that piping to go in, correct?
Correct. You know, it's safe to say that almost every inch of sewer line that's been installed in Capizal has had to be prepped by pumping the groundwater out of that
that resting place for the sewer line.
When I was out there, I saw it, and it's just constant pumping.
It is
Speaks
constant.
to the volumes of the water that's under, so I just wanna make sure, forgive me, Mayor, I just wanna make sure because, we're expecting rain, we're expecting rain this upcoming week. And I understand everybody's frustration with the street conditions, things like that, but it cannot be paved until we've completed this piping process. And as soon as that's done, from our understanding and not too long ago in the last report, that's the next step, but this is essential, this has to happen before we can start paving the streets, correct?
Absolutely, it has to happen. Every manhole and every, again, inch of sewer line that would be under the pavement has to be installed first before we can actually pave. And what we're gonna do actually is replace the curb and gutter first, and then we'll go ahead and repave. And the design on the curb and gutter section throughout the subdivision is just about complete. I think we're meeting tomorrow to go over the details with the county. The county helped us out tremendously with that at no charge. They use their own engineers to design the curb and gutter system for the subdivision, and they will be the ones actually doing the paving also.
Can I ask him a couple of questions?
Yes.
So in a typical situation where there's no water, how far can they lay line or distance of those lines can go into the ground, and how quickly compared to this project? Because of the water, they're not able to move as fast. So would you compare what a normal no water area looks like time frame wise versus?
Right, I've seen a 100-lot subdivision sewer system be installed in 2 weeks or less. It's been months here. I've literally seen it done by a good contractor in 2 weeks in a 100-lot subdivision.
And
That's laying every line in.
I think what happened, and I've gotten several calls also, like Commissioner Martinez has. And I tried, and it's hard, man, because if I put myself in their situation, I would be frustrated too. But I think for the rest of the public, what they need to know that the reason this project was done wasn't necessarily the flooding issue, that was just part of it. That flooding issue is the same problem as the sewer issue. The water just doesn't go down there. That's why we had to do the drainage.
Right.
But
yes,
more
sir.
importantly, the drainage was done fairly quickly. The problem is that the people there couldn't flush their toilets for months at a time because of that water table. So the only thing I tell them is just the part about hanging on is, look, the streets are gonna get fixed, they will. But more importantly, you'll be able to flush your toilet and not have to worry about emptying out your sewer into the neighboring yard and stuff like that.
Absolutely, more important, yes.
So I think the people just, so I've been reminding them, they say, yeah, I know that, but it's real frustrating, I get it, driving in mud is frustrating. And we all wanna see it get done, the sooner the better, but we've gotta do it right. If we don't do it right, we'll be right back to square one. So it's hard to ask people that are going through this stuff, especially when it's about to rain, and to tell them, hey, aguanta un poquito más. It's hard, but, hopefully when this thing does get done, they're gonna reap the benefits of it. Now, when you say June 1st, are we talking about the project completed or just the sanitary sewer?
The entire closing out of the project, so we hope and don't anticipate that the last manhole or line will be laid on that day, and we don't believe that at all. It's a good contractor that's working for us, but as per the contract, he has a right to ask for his days that he lost during certain events that that happened, whether it was weather delays or whether it was as per the change orders that we've approved, adjusting manholes that weren't part of the original contract. Takes time to adjust 5 or 6 manholes, so he's asking for credit for those days that he had to work on adjusting those manholes.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
well, that's a good point that you make. I mean, if you've got a septic tank and the water table is sitting in
Your septic
standing
tank
in groundwater,
basically
there's
submerged.
no way. It depends. It's kind of engineered. It relies on a drain field that it can drain into, and if that drain field is saturated, it's not going anywhere but back up into your house. So that's the advantage of the sanitary sewer, is that if it's truly a closed and sealed system, and I know nothing's perfect. But if those,
You will be tested.
if those, are those, I assume those manhole covers are gonna be the variety that are sealed and that, you know, when that is put into operation, it should be operating without a whole lot of,
Infiltration.
yeah, the risk that flood water is gonna seep into that and flood that as well.
Right, yes, sir, they will be, the greater risk comes from the actual installation of the water lines and the manholes, that's where you get a majority of your infiltration. I know when we have rain events, it's the obvious, right, it's above ground and you see the water, the streets covered and water's gonna go to that cover. But really infiltration happens all day long, especially in a subdivision like that, or can happen. That's why we inspect how they install and construct the manhole bases and how the line's installed, and then at the end we pressure test the entire system. We shut everything, we put air in it, and it can't lose pressure. And then we confirm that it's a completely sealed system.
But it will be impermeable covers, right? We're not gonna put the ones,
Yes.
cheaper ones that we have in
Yes,
here.
they will.
Perfect. All right, anybody else? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just real quick, you know, we gotta be very coherent on the time frame of this, and I'm kinda disappointed. Last time that the gentleman was here, as far as the manholes, you know, we said what other delays you might expect. Of course, he couldn't, obviously, because of, he couldn't see underground, right? I mean, and when we ran into that issue with manholes, the leveling issue, and I understand, okay, we did that work order. But we can't control the weather, now all of a sudden everybody's Tim Smith here, you know,
Yeah.
we need I think the longer we delay this process, people are gonna suffer, and those roads are gonna be more susceptible to rain and further delays. So I think we need to just keep pushing forward. If it's something we have to do, fine, but what's next? The April showers, right? Then, okay, then summer, then what happens? Hopefully, we don't get some type of storms in the summer, or hurricane, or tropical storm, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
So, and then that's gonna get worse if those things happen. So we always gotta be prepared, and we gotta just jump on it. We gotta tell these project managers to say, look, we gotta go.
You know,
We can ask
right.
God.
We're-
I mean, we need the rain for the farmers. God bless our farmers, but we also have these little issues as well, but we gotta move fast.
Yes, sir.
Projects.
Yes.
But we'll do what we need to do, and we want it done right. I think we're all in agreement here to push forward.
We'll continue to provide oversight on the project like we have been, and what I can say is, we're April 2nd, so we're less than 2 months from completion. April, May, June 1st, we're extending it, so we're there.
Let me tell you like this, from somebody that has family that lives there, they see that we kept our word. From previous administrations that said that they would fix it, and nothing's been moved, it's quite a difference. Obviously, we were very honest with people from the beginning. You can't control what happens. You can't control the weather, just like you can't control what's under there. But we're sticking it through and we're seeing it through, and I would dare ask anybody, if you'd like, you can go see the pump for yourself, and see how much water is being pumped out every hour. It's amazing.
And it doesn't go down, does it?
It doesn't. So that just shows that, you know, you guys are doing the best you can. You got that pump running 24/7, and as soon as it dries out, as it did in the other side, that pipe will be there. So, you know, people understand, they're frustrated, but they at least see that there's progress, they see the retention. I believe that you guys have it behind the neighborhood, you know, so they see that this is gonna help them in the long run, man, so thank you for that. I agree, you know, just keep at it.
One last thing,
Yes, ma'am.
the subdivision itself can drain today if it rains. I'm not talking about not having mud, I'm talking about it drains today in a rain, correct?
Yes.
The issue's still gonna be the septic tanks, but as far as drainage and the 7 feet of water there and all that,
Storm drain.
the storm drain is in operation already.
It is.
Okay, no, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign, the motion carries. Moving on to item 8B, approval of purchase of 913.4475 acre feet
municipal water rights from the Cameron County Irrigation District Number 2.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner House, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9A, presentation, discuss, consider possible take action regarding approval of interlocal agreement 2024-2026 Rio Grande Valley Emergency Communications District 911 and the City of Mercedes Police Department for 911 service. Dennis, I don't know if you got a spiel or you just want to vote?
Thank you for your time. I have Executive Director, Mr. Manuel Cruz, and also Lieutenant Diaz here. This interlocal is just a continuation of services for 911. That's gonna just continue operations, and since this equipment is loan, this is something that we want to continue providing your community. So this is just a 2-week renewal, 2-year renewal that we've been doing for you.
Mayor, make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
just, so it's the formality of keeping the services going?
Correct, yes, sir.
Perfect, yes, sir.
I would, if you want to one day bring or send it to us so that we can present, so that the commission can see the number of calls that are taken, or I know, Lieutenant, I don't know if y'all have access to that. I know you've gone to some of the board meetings. I sit on their executive committee and they do a fantastic job. Those reports are eye-opening. I think if people were to see just how busy the valley is.
Yes, Mayor, good evening to the board, city commission, staff. Good to be here. Thanks for the invite. Again, it's a great partnership that we have. And so roughly I can provide you with the stats, about 700 calls we received in March for City of Mercedes. Roundabout. We do have text to 911 as well. And so we roughly received about five of those texts to 911 calls.
Yes, so I don't know if you wanna, we're on the cutting edge, believe it or not.
Yes.
So you wanna tell them a little bit about what we do for our special needs?
I've heard of
You mind?
text and
Sure.
911, about to get
Go ahead and just give us a little.
Sure, well, 911, as we just recently upgraded from an analog system to a digital system, and about roughly around 2021, that's when we upgraded the system. And so, in that same timeframe, we're in transition to implement text to 911. It was already in place, and at that point in time, the entire state of Texas, you're able to text to 911. What that means, basically, the way it sounds. For somebody that's breaking into your apartment, your home, your store, that saves you from calling and that person hearing you. You can hide and then text to 911, just like if you were calling but texting, significant other or your friend. Same thing, just be
whispering in the closet.
correct, not whispering, just texting with your hands. And so be quick about it. What the situation, what the emergency is, and your location. That's all they want to know, not your life story or anything like that, or what's going on, but just, what the situation is and your address, so they can get the police over to you or firefighters, if need be. So, yes, the implementation of Texas 911 is here, and so we're working on other great initiatives, and so hopefully here in the next couple of years, we'll be able to implement video. What that means is, it's basically, when somebody calls 911, the dispatcher can send them a link, and with their permission, the caller's permission, they can connect, and they can actually transmit the video of the emergency that's happening. So it's already in place. We're just trying to fine tune and actually buy the system or the subscription, in other words.
And how about the special needs, the deaf and?
The special needs, obviously we attend, if you don't know, I'll tell you that we attend numerous events, community events that are held throughout the two-county region. So if your precinct or your area is having, or the city is having an event, send us a request and we'll be happy to attend and provide educational material for the public. For special needs, I know we're working on an initiative trying to get, working with a local agency and I want to say, I forget the name of it, but Vail, and try to get some kind of embroidery, broil for the special needs population. Also educating them when to call 911 and what to report. So my staff, I don't do it alone. You know, my staff, I think I have like 14 staff that do a variety of things, but all of us pitch in when it comes to educating the public to 911. In time you'll see me out there spreading the word on 911. So we're very active on 911 when it comes to letting people know when to call. 911.
I think it's important for our people to, and I would, when's our next meeting?
It's coming up this month.
Yes,
This
2 weeks.
is 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I would recommend if as commission members or staff that would like to go to the meeting to watch just what's going on, for y'all that don't know, we used to get allotted our money from the state from what they get out of your phone. You know, that special charge, the 911 charge on your phone, it would go to the state and only certain counties, like Cameron did a long time ago, they get their money direct, but we would get it allotted. So Manny and his team, Dennis and everybody got together and they went and fought for legislation to make our area independent as well. So now all that funding comes to our region, in this case, only us and Willacy, because Cameron was already on their own. And that's where we developed the executive board, and it's just changed the way we do all this in our region for the better. And then one of the other things that's going on is Vail and a lot of those organizations have now become a part of the law enforcement community. If any of y'all weren't able to go to the emergency management conference here recently in McAllen, there was a huge presence of the deaf and that were there pushing for education. They're starting an initiative to train police, fire, EMS on sign language, just basic sign language, so that they can get their message across. So all of this was initiated by people getting started to going down this road. So anyway, any chance I get to push that, the 911 is a big deal. People just don't know enough about it. We're at the cutting edge in this region, in that line, and I wanted to thank you for that publicly.
Thank you. We love the state, but having local control over our situation is 10 times better. And the money stays here, so that's a plus. We'll be able to do more things, implement more software technologies when it comes to that.
I have a couple of comments or questions on the operation side. Of course, I'm on the staffing side concerned. Our staff keep getting recruited by other cities because they sit next to each other. So last year we lost, I think, 6 in 1 month. And so is there anything you can look into and maybe, you know, if people want to go apply somewhere else, they need to do it on their own time, not during working hours. That's number one. Number two, I understand this is just for equipment. So if our staff needs to go to the restroom and we're shorthanded, nobody else helps them out, nobody can fill in. Is that correct?
Well, for that, when it comes to I guess poaching employees, we don't have any control over that. I mean, we have 16, 911 centers, PSAPs, and so they can go to any of those. It's up to them. Obviously, they're going to go to base more if there's a position open. As far as the 911, it's a redundant system. So what that means is when a PSAP is down, it rings and goes to the next PSAP. So and it goes further down the line. So there's always a 911 call that gets answered. It's never dropped. It's never not answered. And so years past, we had issues where 911 is down. There's no such thing.
Right.
It's a redundant system that goes from PSAP to PSAP. Our two hubs are, one is in the sheriff's office, the Seattle County Sheriff's Office. The other one is City of McAllen PD. And so from there, they fan out. That's where the calls go, and then fan out to the PSAPs. But if, for example, Mercedes would be down, it goes to the next closest PSAP, which is Westlaco or even Elsa. They have a little more there. And so whenever they need a break, they could let the neighboring jurisdiction know, or they can just go and the message will get through.
Automatic.
There's no such thing as breaks.
And thank you to the manager, just to let you know also, that's a great topic for us to communicate with your telecommunicators, with Mr. Lieutenant Diaz. Just like Manny was saying, these calls will drop. So we have redundancy over redundancy, so we'll be able to speak with them, let them know when you log off your workstation, when a call comes in, the system automatically will recognize there's not an agent there, and we'll go straight to Westlaco If not, go to ELSA and then the sheriff's office. So it's gonna be bouncing around, but we're gonna make sure that it's effective. There is communication, that's what we do. That's a great thing that you guys were the front runners of ensuring that you guys were a comm center. Joining in allows you to speak with your city counterparts right next to you and let them know, hey, I'm gonna take a little quick break, are you be able to handle and manage these calls? So these are some things that our system has in place, and we'll be available to answer any questions for them and help them see what resources are available and how the system works for them to ensure that connectivity is available to y'all's community.
Thank you.
And before I go, I also want to mention a good thing that's coming up is going to be Telecommunicators Week. That's the week of April 14th through the 20th. But every year we go out there and show support, and we also want to invite you all. We're going to be going to y'all's office, the Regional Comm Center, Wednesday, April 17th at 1:30. I'll be passing out these flyers. That's something that we write some wellness gifts there for them, but it just shows an appreciation of what they do. These are our first responders. They deal with a call, next call comes in, and they're the ones that are managing and allocating resources to make sure the emergency is out there. So I definitely ask you all, it's great to show that the commissioners, the mayor, the city managers are there to support them. Be available, we'll be there, out there to show our support, and I can speak for them. They definitely love seeing their city folks showing an admiration of what they do and the hard work they do 365 days out of the year.
Thank you, Don.
Date, time, and place on that?
I'll be passing this out.
While you're doing that, I just wanna say, give my thanks. I've been to those board meetings, and I can't tell you what how good it feels to know that there's a coalition of folks sticking out for local government and kind of trying to make regional decisions that help everybody out, because I think that's just that team approach is very effective. I enjoy hearing what y'all do. Y'all do great work, and appreciate it.
Thank you, thanks, sir. And like Dennis said, we do provide some goodie bag to all the telecommunicators. That's again, a small token of our appreciation of what they do. Like Dennis said, they work nonstop, 7 days a week, 365. And so that's just a little bit of appreciation from our part that we do for the telecommunicators. So please join us that day. A great photo op for not just you, but for them. They truly support them seeing you there. And so really appreciate your attendance if you would.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Be there.
We have a motion to, motion by Commissioner Martinez, do I have a second? Second by Dr. Saldana. Commissioner, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries. Moving on to B, approval of grant contract, Texas State Library and Archives Commission.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I don't mean to take away, but I read it, but I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Howell. Do you want to tell us?
I still think
Wanna say
they'll tell us about it.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to.
Okay,
Which is a deal.
No, it's a deal.
We're just in support of it.
No, it's a really good deal, so.
Now we want to know.
Okay, so we awarded the Family Place Grant by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. The Family Place Grant is so that we can have an area in the library that is dedicated to small children and their families. We would have $6,000 to create that little area, whether it be a kitchen set, some toys, music toys, things like that. That's what we'll be purchasing. 2 staff will go to a training that is 4 days long. It's gonna be in Round Rock, Texas. So I have my assistant director and my children's person going. After the training though, you still get visitations by the Family Place system to make sure that you're following all their guidelines. And the goal is to have parents come and we connect them with people, like specialized people, like let's say a doctor comes in for a week, during 1 week we're doing like a health thing, and then another one could be a literacy week, and another one could be just parenting tips, another one could be healthy living or healthy eating habits. So that's gonna be the goal, so that we can connect people with that, and at the same time, while the children are playing, then the parents are speaking to the specialists. So that's what the grant is for.
Perfect.
Good, alright, all those in favor say aye. Aye, all those opposed, same sign, motion carries, thank you, good job, keep on bringing them. I think what it is we're just used to you bringing one every meeting, so.
She's full of great news all the time.
Item number 10, executive session, for chapter 551 Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, section 551.074, personnel matters, section 551.07, economic development. Motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion, Mayor.
Motion by Commissioner Howell, second by Commissioner Martinez, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign, motion carries, we're in executive session.
If we can start brewing some coffee.
I'm sorry, 8:49, I call this meeting back in, regular, session. I believe we have no action on A and B, I believe, item C requires action. I'd like to entertain a motion from
Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move as discussed in executive session to authorize, legal and our city manager to hire counsel to negotiate and purchase 913.4475 acre feet of water for, I believe, the prevailing rate, market rate, 3,600 feet per acre, which comes to about $3 million, as approved in management item 8B, and to hire any experts as needed to provide guidance and counsel in executing and negotiating such contract.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Martinez, discussion. I think it's just for us to explain an expenditure that size,
Sure.
and it's just real simple, right? And then I don't know if you want to explain it or if you want me to, but my part in of it is small in that we're short 1,000 acre feet, 1,200 acre feet of water for our citizens. And for us to matter of fact, I'm real impressed by our city manager and his team to have located this because it's something that just doesn't happen. So it's something very important, and I commend the commission and I commend our city manager and his team for having the foresight and the ability to find a purchase like this. Sounds like a lot of money, but at the end of the day, no water, no life. So I think it needs to be said that what Mercedes is doing here, what you all are doing here, what we are doing here collectively is to ensure that our citizens are taken care of, not only in the near future, but in the long run as well. So I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Mayor, I would just add, just as we discussed, back there, this is an investment not only for today, but for the future of Mercedes, for our kids, for our grandchildren, and the continuing generations. So we're looking after not only today, but obviously the future of Mercedes. We gotta take care of the future, and that's what this commission is continuing to do, invest in Mercedes and the citizens.
Thank you. Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to item 12, adjournment.
Make motion, Mayor?
Motion by Commissioner Martinez, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. It is 8:51 PM.
God bless Mercedes, go Tigers.
That's all I was waiting for.
There's good night.
Now I can go in peace.
Good night, Marty.
Miss Marty.
When are you gonna wrap?